Our first responders, they're really the bedrock of our communities, right? They're the ones running toward the danger when everyone else is running away. But that service, it comes with a price, and it's one we don't always see. So today, we're going to dive into something pretty incredible, a way to use data to protect them. So, for years when we've talked about mental health for our first responders, the conversation always seems to land on one thing: reducing the stigma. And that's important, for sure. But what if it's just not enough? I mean, the emotional and psychological weight of this job, it's not some abstract risk. It's what they live with every single day. And that toll, it's huge. Just think about it. It's call after call, sleepless night after sleepless night, one traumatic event piling on top of another. And yeah, acknowledging that sacrifice is a good first step, but it absolutely cannot be the last one. Because let's be real, just making it okay to talk about the problem doesn't actually solve the problem, does it? The goal has to be bigger. We've got to shift from just reacting when someone's in crisis to actually building a system that protects them from getting there in the first place. Okay, so if the old way has its limits, what's next? Well, the new path forward, it actually starts with a question. And it's a really smart question that totally reframes the challenge by looking at something that's been, well, hiding in plain sight this whole time. Okay, think about all that information. All the details that get meticulously recorded after every single call. What if that data,
the data that crews are already capturing as part of their routine reports. This isn't some new task. It's just part of their daily grind, day in, day out.
what if that data could do more than just chip away at the stigma? What if it could actually help eliminate it by completely changing how we see and manage psychological exposure? I mean, what if we could take all that objective, unbiased info from their reports and use it to get ahead of the risk, to see the exposure before it becomes an injury? That would be a game changer for supporting our fire, ambulance, and public safety professionals. Well, that powerful question led to a really powerful answer. It's a piece of tech called Project Bruce, and it's designed to do exactly that. Find the solution right there, hidden in the data. And what's so important here is that this isn't just for one group. It's a unified solution for everyone on the front lines: firefighters, EMS crews, all public safety professionals. So what is it exactly? At its heart, Project Bruce is a secure, privacy-focused tool. It analyzes the incident reports that already exist and flags when a responder might have been exposed to a traumatic event. The whole point is to get ahead of burnout and what's called post-traumatic stress injury, or PTSI. And that word is key. It frames it as an injury, not a disorder. This amazing innovation comes from a company called Beyond Lucid Technologies, and they actually named it Project Bruce in memory of a friend and colleague, Bruce Graham. It just goes to show you there's a really human purpose behind all this tech. Okay, but how does it actually work? How does a standard incident report turn into a tool for protection? Let's get into it. All right, this is probably the most critical part. There is no extra work for the crews. Seriously, this is so important because the last thing they need is another task. The system just plugs right into the software they're already using. It's not adding to their burden, it's learning from it. So the system is basically trained to look for specific types of psychologically heavy events. We're talking about things like mass casualty incidents, witnessing a death, violent or sexual events, especially when kids are involved, life-threatening situations to the responders themselves, really any frightening events, disaster responses, or even things we might not think of, like really long, grueling shifts. And over time, it builds this confidential, totally objective picture of how much stress an individual has been exposed to. But, this is about so much more than just the mechanics and the data. The real mission here is way bigger. It's about fundamentally changing the culture of care for our first responders. It's about moving past just reducing the stigma to getting rid of it altogether. And the long-term vision here, it's to create a system of support that protects a responder through their entire career, literally from their first day of recruitment to the day they retire. Because if you can understand that cumulative exposure, you can step in early, you can provide the right support, and you can keep your people healthy and safe from start to finish. There's a quote from Jonathon, the CEO of Beyond Lucid Technologies, that it nails it. He says, "Patients are your responsibility,
You are our responsibility. That just perfectly captures what this whole project is about, right? It's about finally turning that system of care inward and taking responsibility for the people who take care of all of us.
And that really leaves us with one last powerful thought to chew on. Every single day, we use data to save patients. We use it to predict diseases, to improve outcomes, to save lives. The logic here is so simple and so urgent. If data can do all that for patients, why on earth wouldn't we use it to save our responders too?